make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more and more.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos, and it is, again, done in bad faith.
The Surgeon General is calling for this warning label on social media platforms. The President and the administration have been clear. You support addressing mental health tied to social media, especially among young people. But does the President support this action? Does he support a warning label like this as a means to addressing this crisis?
And to your question, Mary Bruce, you're absolutely right. There's a mental health issue. Our young people are experiencing an unprecedented mental health.
What? Easy to swear at you. We've got news. Rashid Sunak is now the prime minister. You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough. What a stupid son of a bitch. But guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway. This woman helped me get an awful lot done. Anyway. Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced. I'm tired of being quiet. I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it. I'm sorry to take so long, guys, but everybody knows I like kids better than people. I like kids better than people. Everybody knows I like kids better than people.
Look at Dan.
Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys till you're 30.
Okay.
Right?
No what?
No serious guys till you're 30.
I'll keep that in mind. At least.
People are waiting for relief. I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. A lot has been happened already, number one. Number two, I'm going to fight like heck. Just remind them, I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it? Guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening? They're going to have to compete and start paying hard-working people a decent wage. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I think you know how much it means to me to have you swear me in today, and I thank you. Trust and confidence. I've got a lot of thanks to give out here. First and foremost to my perfect wife, Stephanie, my wonderful son, Will, and my daughter, Ava, already mentioned.
And you guys can sit in the edge or what, if you I don't want you to have to stand all along, but it's up to you. By the way, he gave me permission to touch him. All right. Why don't you sit in the room like this?
Expand your capacity is through the partnership that we have, the federal and state government, along with local governments. This issue is ongoing each year, as we have discussed. It gets worse. It affects real people.
Thank you, Boris. And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. No matter what their cost, 2, 10, 12, 15, oops, stepping on it's black. Anyway. Oh, man, this is boring. Isn't this boring? Charlie, this is boring. Come on.
I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the destruction of this magnificent planet. This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. On behalf of We the 15, I ask you.
Please welcome the Prime Minister of Italy, Mario Draghi.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. By the way, I very much worry about this guy's biceps. His biceps are big as my calves. Look at this. There's a man. I hope we're on the same side.
He's Russian.
I don't care who he is. He's got some real biceps. We call them guns.
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event, the word thank you seems kind of inadequate.
On the steps we've taken, he said, and I quote, "The combination of private enterprise and government working together has been really successful." He went on to say, all the way through the supply chain, there's a lot of innovation. Because of the actions we've taken, things have begun to change. End of quote. In the past 3 weeks, the number of containers sitting on docks, we're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracies.
We're live here with priest Glenn Cotten from the Ecumenical Order of Christ Thanks for being on the show, brother.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm Cardinal Clark Isaac, also with the Ecumenical Order of Christ. This topic is, it's unfortunate. It's something to laugh about, but this guy is supposed to be the president of the United States. And we're seeing him go through later stages of dementia, it seems.
Yeah, it's a truly sad situation. The fact that this man should be hospitalized at home with his loved ones right now, being taken care of properly, and he's put in the highest position he could possibly be in the United States government, running this country.
And that's the joke right there.
That is the joke, yeah.
That he's supposed to be running the country.
Exactly.
So don't feel bad for laughing at that video, because that's how ridiculous the United States government is right now. That they would put such a person as a figurehead, and the American people seem to tolerate it.
Well, I think they're trying to convince the American people of this outrageous lie that they are trying to push, trying to convince us that this man is sane enough to carry the nuclear codes, sane enough to run our government. And we can see what's happening with the United States government right now. The whole country is falling apart. Everything from live gunfire in the streets in broad daylight, to looting, to the economy falling, to the border being wide open. It goes on and on and on. It frustrates me to see this, and to see how America is falling apart at the hands of the Democratic Party. They're just allowing this to happen. Like I say, this man needs to be at home, being taken care of. What really is sad is that the Democratic Party is propping this man up and forcing people, or trying to force people, to believe in this lie. They really think the American people are stupid, but everybody can see right through what's going on.
Yeah, we've heard Biden say things like, "If you don't vote for me, you're not black."
Oh, absolutely. The man is totally racist.
he expects black people to be that stupid to believe that. Unfortunately, a great amount believed that and went along with it anyways, and still voted for him.
Yeah. If people had done a little bit of research, he's been that way since the early 70s when he entered government. I mean, the man has never changed. I mean, he's tried to mask it over the years and tried to sidestep it, but the truth of what he's really all about, and how he feels about minorities in this country, is just outrageous.
Well, what I want to do for our audience is bring up what you and I were discussing before the show.
Sure.
About the stages of dementia that it's most apparent that he's going through right now.
Absolutely.
So the audience can see what's on our screen here.
True, and it's already been said that most commentators are believing that he's already entered stage 5, and that's serious when you get to that level.
So I'm going to give a brief overview of what those stages are. The first stage is normal outward behavior, no dementia at all. Quality of life, no impact. That's the normal everyday person. They're not showing any signs of dementia.
You wouldn't even know it.
Mm-hmm. Stage 2, very mild changes, no real dementia, but quality of life still has no impact. They are still having some difficulty finding the right words, maybe some memory problems, substituting one word for another, which is pretty normal with older age. That does happen sometimes. But stage 3 is when it starts to get serious. They're showing more signs of forgetfulness. They're, again, more difficulty finding the right words. They don't remember appointments. They can't really manage their money, their medicines. And stage 3 is really when someone's truly not fit to be president. If they can't even manage money, then they certainly can't manage an entire government. Absolutely. But you're saying stage 5, right?
That's what some of the commentators are already expressing.
Okay, so stage 4 is the same things but much worse, and they're unable to have knowledge of recent events is what's added to that. Like, they're things that happened very recently aren't in their memory as much, and they don't have the same ease with problem solving. Now, stage 5, this is what we should really get into here. This is what they're saying is he's in stage 5, right?
That's what they believe, yes.
So personality changes, mood swings, repeating the same things over and over
We
again.
already know that he has outbursts that are not seen on camera. This is stuff that goes on in the White House. He's had outbursts and tantrums and fits that he goes through.
So having gaps in memory, but also he's becoming a confused state about a lot of things, like where he is. You'll see him wandering around on the stage, not really knowing where he is. They'll have to have somebody escort him off the stage.
Absolutely.
That's totally stage 5 right there. But it could even be stage 6, because stage 6 here, it says that they get lost and they wander off. That's stage 6. So it may very well be much worse than what they're theorizing.
Yes. Yeah. And this man, again, is running the United States of America. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
And the next stage is basically he just loses most of his cognitive abilities.
Becomes
entirely.
a vegetable pretty much at this point.
And I mean, even though it's clearly he's not fit to be president, despite what the White House press secretary wants to say about cheap fake videos. At the beginning of the stream, people, you saw there was nothing fake about that. Nothing at all. It was from a cell phone camera. It was low quality. There was nothing edited about it.
And if you remember when she was talking, she said that the Republicans are desperate. Well, in my opinion, we can see the desperation in the Democratic Party and the White House. They're the ones that are desperate. They're the ones that are lashing out at anything that they can say or do to discredit the truth.
Yeah. For our audience who's they're asking questions about the TikTok. We're not live right now. I wanted to make sure that there was no copyright issues with the video that we displayed at the beginning. So we'll be uploading another copy without the video at the beginning, but that will be on TikTok. It just won't be live, at least for this segment. But we are live on Facebook, YouTube, VK, and Twitch. So please follow those links. So what's going to happen next? I mean, if Biden can't be president, he's clearly in mental decline. Who's next?
Our glorious vice president, Kamala.
Oh, wow. So Kamala Harris. I don't know if anybody wants her to be president.
It just goes from bad to worse. I mean, what are our options here, I don't know what to say. She's been a lousy vice president. She has. She hasn't done anything.
And she has a horrible record as a prosecutor. If you compare how she's being celebrated now, she has an extremely high conviction rate for people who are caught in possession of marijuana. Mm-hmm. Yet these days, only recently, some big marijuana harvesting company named an entire strain after her.
Yeah. There's rumor that she's a user.
So she's a hypocrite, essentially.
Absolutely. And to this point, she really doesn't even get it that she is a hypocrite,
or doesn't care.
Well, she doesn't care about anything really. She's in a position, more or less, to just be in the position, just to be a face, to say that I'm a vice president. She was given a task to go and be the border czar. I mean, we can see how that's fallen apart. She's never gone down to the border and actually done anything in the job that she was expected to do. She's a total waste of taxpayer money.
I want to talk about America looking like a big joke would be if they had that cackling woman as the president.
All she does is laughs about everything,
even serious questions.
Sure. She makes a joke out of it
because she doesn't have anything intelligent to say.
But don't interrupt her when she's talking.
Oh,
yeah. My goodness, she'll put you in your place in a second. There was a heckler the other day that said something to her, and she specifically got up to him and said, "I'm doing the talking now. I'm doing the talking." In other words, you shut up when I talk, regardless whether I have anything pertinent to say or not.
Oh, yeah. And if a president can't tolerate someone exercising their First Amendment rights, what hope is there for that country.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
We've done some Bible code research on some very specific dates coming up. One of which is in July 5th, actually. But the code also, essentially in more simplistic terms, does talk about July of 2024. And I think it's really important that we talk about it here, because it does have some important terms, including the name Harris in it. And because of President Biden's mental decline, it's very possible that we will soon have a President Harris. And people, you can see on the screen here that this is a Torah code about July 2024. Now we scroll down and we see these extra terms here, these additional terms. You see the word for Harris showing up here in the code.
Yeah, that's eye-opening. She is actually in there for July.
Yep. And it says things like vixen, which really describes her in her private life too. Alteration, modification, turnover, change, altering, transforming. The term supersede, overwrites, replacing, substituting, negate, oust, belligerent, feisty, militant. I'd say this pretty well describes her so far, doesn't it? And what's coming.
And people have to realize that these codes were put into the Bible 3,300 years ago, which is just mind-boggling.
By design.
By design, yes.
This whole plan is playing out.
Absolutely.
And here we are, ever closer to the end. We don't know how much time is left exactly, but things are getting so bad. It's like we couldn't imagine it getting any worse, at least being here while it gets much worse. But it says another term here, to take revenge. And I would like to say God bless America, God have mercy on America, but it's looking like it's too late for America now.
The to take revenge hopefully doesn't mean America has been hit and is going to take revenge in its own way. I don't know.
It does say booms and worldliness and mankind. So that could very well be that Kamala Harris is the one to start dropping bombs.
Yes, it could mean that. It also could mean that we get hit and that Kamala is put in charge because Biden can't handle the situation and that America needs to take revenge. It's hard to say at this point. But one of the things that we were told was that the way the Bible codes are, if you remember, that July 5th actually starts in the evening. So it's the evening of July 4th. And what happens on the evening of July 4th?
Yeah, the reason it's like that is because we're talking about the time in the Middle East and in Israel specifically.
Correct. And I just think that that's just eye-opening again to know that something could happen on the evening of July 4th when we're celebrating our independence, the strength of America, our freedom, everything that America stands for. It would be a perfect opportunity for enemies to strike, to make a statement, to let the world know that America is not what they're celebrating.
Right. And it could very well be the time that Biden proves that he's unfit to be president.
True.
And is immediately taken out of the position, and Harris takes that position instead.
It could very well be. Like I say, these codes are very eye-opening and very intriguing to see this. But something seems to be going on, or will be a great change for the month of July for America.
I would like to say I'm enthusiastic about this, but one thing I know that we are enthusiastic about is the kingdom. The kingdom's coming soon.
Yes.
Our Lord's glory and power visible, apparent to the whole world.
And we really need to change. The world is so evil right now, with so much evil going on, that we need God's hand to come in and to set things right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, I think it's time that we give our audience some final words. And if you have any message to give to them before we end this show today, what would you say to particularly to the people of America?
Well, I would tell the people of America to not be fooled by false doctrines and what you've been taught. You need to open your minds and your heart to the messages that are being given. We've been taught false doctrine by evangelists, by preachers for so long that we've been led to believe that that's the truth. But now the codes are opening up. The Messiah is here, whether people want to accept that or not. He is here. Just like he came 2,000 years ago when he was a man walking on the earth. He's that same man right now walking on the earth. And he's looking for people who are true in the heart and true followers to be with him. And if you look around, 8 billion people in this world, only a handful, just like 2,000 years ago, are accepting him as the Messiah. And it's a real shame because it's this false doctrine that they've been taught where they won't accept him. Mm-hmm. You know, they believe in the great deception. You know what that's all about, right?
Yeah, well, we've taught about that recently on this show. And to recap a bit, the great deception is in fact is formed from a spirit of Antichrist within people to believe this false doctrine. Now, a lot of Christians who were brought up to believe this false doctrine you're referring to, they're not aware of what the great deception actually is. They expect the great deception to come from a particular Antichrist figure, but they don't realize that the great deception actually comes from a spirit of Antichrist already within them.
And all they have to do is Google the great deception. It's out there. Just read it. It simply says that the people of the earth are expecting this Antichrist figure to come into power, and that Christ will arrive later. And that's just the opposite of the truth. The Christ will arrive first. And people will think that the Christ that has arrived is the Antichrist. And thus, they lose their salvation because they've accepted, they have accepted their belief that the Antichrist comes first, and they have accused falsely the Messiah of being the Antichrist.
And that's where we're at today. That's where we've been at for the last 12 years. And we can't say this is going to go on much longer. Yeah. It's not for us to decide the day or the hour, people, but look at the signs. We are near the time of the end. Well, brother, thank you for being here on the show with me.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope to have you on again next week.
Well, we'll definitely make a point of doing that. I love the fact that you've got a great production set up here. You've done a great job.
Thanks.
I'm hoping that this word gets out to many people and they start watching this stream, because it's very, very important that the truth gets out there. And my hat's off to you. God bless you for what you're doing. And I just think that you should continue to keep doing this and getting the truth out there to more and more people. It's very important.
It means a lot to me. May God bless you too, brother.
Thank you.
And may God bless all of our audience. Thank you for joining us. May God bless your family and your friends, and the blessings that you impart onto them by sharing these truths. Again, thank you for joining us. This is The Council. I'm Cardinal Clark Isaac, joined by Priest Glenn Cotten. May God bless in Lord Rail's name. Amen.